Hello friends, so today's video is going to be a list of some anticipated fantasy releases for the month of March, and I am going to be going in order of projected release date. I'll also have all relevant information in the description bar down below in case you'd like to reference back to it, and then as always I will try to get to as many of these as possible, so be on the lookout for new fantasy books videos because that's where I will be talking about them. The very first one that I'm going to mention originally was scheduled to be released for March 7th, but I believe it's actually going to be released even earlier, so by the time that this video goes up, it might actually already be out, and that would be The Adventures of Amina Al-Sirafi. So the synopsis for this one says, Amina Al-Sirafi should be content. After a storied and scandalous career as one of the Indian Ocean's most notorious pirates, she's survived backstabbing rogues, vengeful merchant princes, several husbands, and one actual demon to retire peacefully with her family to a life of piety, motherhood, and absolutely nothing that hints of the supernatural. But when she's tracked down by the obscenely wealthy mother of a former crewman, she's offered a job no bandit could refuse. Retrieve her comrade's kidnapped daughter for a kingly sum. The chance to have one last adventure with her crew, do right by an old friend, and win a fortune that will secure her family's future forever, it seems like such an obvious choice that it must be God's will. Yet the deeper Amina dives, the more it becomes alarmingly clear there is more to this job and the girl's disappearance than she was led to believe. For there's always risk in wanting to become a legend, to seize one last chance at glory, to savor just a bit more power, and the price might be your very soul. And then it talks about how Shannon Chakraborty is the author of The City of Brass. So if this name sounds familiar, that is likely where you have heard it before. After that, we have the Foxglove King. This one says, in this lush, romantic, new epic fantasy series from New York Times bestselling author Hannah Witten, a young woman's secret power to raise the dead plunges her into the dangerous and glamorous world of the sainted king's royal court. When Laure was 13, she escaped a cult in the catacombs beneath the city of Delaire, and in the 10 years since, she's lived by one rule: don't let them find you. Easier said than done when her death magic ties her to the city. Mortem, the magic born from death, is a high-priced and illicit commodity in Delaire, and Laure's job running poisons keeps her in food, shelter, and relative security. But when a run goes wrong and Laure's power is revealed, she's taken by the Presque Mort, a group of warrior monks sanctioned to use Mortem, working for the sainted king. Laure fully expects a pyre, but King August has a different plan. Entire villages on the outskirts of the country have been dying overnight, seemingly at random. Laure can either use her magic to find out what's happening and who in the king's court is responsible, or die. She's thrust into the sainted king's glittering court, where no one can be believed and even fewer can be trusted. Guarded by Gabriel, a duke-turned-monk, and continually running up against Bastian, August's ne'er-do-well heir, Laure tangles in politics, religion, and forbidden romance as she attempts to navigate a debauched and opulent society. But the life she left behind in the catacombs is catching up with her, and even as Laure makes her way through the sainted court above, they might be drawing closer than she thinks. I read the Wilderwood duology by this author, the first one being For the Wolf, so that one might either look familiar or sound familiar because you've probably at least seen the cover. And I did like aspects of that duology. It wasn't an all-time favorite by any means, and I did feel like the first and the second were a little disjointed, but I liked a lot of the world-building elements, and I liked the atmosphere of it and the general feel, so I'm really interested to see what we get with this next series. Next up, we have a story that sounds like it's probably going to be very funny, very charming, very cute, and that would be A Witch's Guide to Fake Dating a Demon. So this is following this new trend. Maybe it's not new, but there's this trend, it seems now, of really, really long titles, like A Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches. So anyway, that's irrelevant. The synopsis for this one says, Mariel Spark knows not to trust a demon, especially one that wants her soul, but what's a witch to do when he won't leave her side, and she kind of doesn't want him to. Mariel Spark is prophesied to be the most powerful witch seen in centuries of the famed Spark family. But, sorry, I'm still sick, if you couldn't tell. Let me start that sentence again. Mariel Spark is prophesied to be the most powerful witch seen in centuries of the famed Spark family, but to the displeasure of her mother, she prefers baking to brewing potions and gardening to casting hexes. When a spell to summon flower goes very wrong, Mariel finds herself staring down a demon, one she inadvertently summoned for a soul bargain. Osroth the Ruthless is a legend among demons. Powerful and merciless, he drives a hard bargain to collect mortal souls. but his reputation has suffered ever since a bargain went awry. If he can strike a bargain with Mariel, he will earn back his deadly reputation. Ozroth can't leave Mariel's side until they complete a bargain, which she refuses to do. Turns out, some humans are attached to their souls. But the witch is funny, and disgustingly yet endearingly cheerful. Becoming awkward roommates quickly escalates when Mariel, terrified to confess the inadvertent summoning to her mother, blurts out that she's dating Ozroth. As Ozroth and Mariel struggle with their opposing goals and maintaining a fake relationship, real attraction blooms between them. But Ozroth has a limited amount of time to strike the deal, and if Mariel gives up her soul, she'll lose all emotion, including love, which will only spell disaster for them both. Again, that one sounds like it's just going to be cute and fluffy and silly and fun. The next one is called Bitter Medicine. The synopsis says a Chinese immortal and a French elf navigate romance, family, loyalty, and workplace demands. In her debut novel, Mia Sai has created a paranormal adventure that is full of humor, passion, and depth. As a descendant of the Chinese god of medicine, ignored middle child Elle was destined to be a doctor. Instead, she is underemployed as a mediocre magical calligrapher at the Fairy Temp Agency, paranoid that her murderous younger brother will find her and their elder brother. Using her full abilities will expose her location. Nevertheless, she challenges herself by covertly outfitting Luke, her client and crush, with high-powered glyphs. Half-elf Luke, the agency's top security expert, has his own secret. He's responsible for a curse laid on 2 children from an old assignment. To heal them, he'll need to perform his job's duties with unrelenting excellence and earn time off from his tyrannical boss. When Elle saves Luke's life on a mission, he brings her a gift and a request for a stronger magic to ensure success on the next job, except the next job is hunting down Elle's younger brother. As Luke and Elle collaborate, their chemistry blooms. Happiness for once is an option for them both. But Elle is loyal to her family and Luke is bound by his true name. To win freedom from duty, they must make unexpected sacrifices. After that, we have Chaos and Flame. This looks like it's written by 2 authors, one of which I have read one of their books and quite liked, but it seems like it's going to be very different because the other one I've read would be The Queens of Innis Lear, which is a King Lear retelling, and this sounds drastically different from that, but I did like the author's writing quite a bit. The book is called Chaos and Flame, and it looks like it's going to be the first in a fantasy duology. It says it's going to be a ferocious YA fantasy duology featuring ancient magic, warring factions, and a romance between the 2 people in the world with the most cause to hate one another. Darling Seabright cannot remember anything before the murder of her family at the hands of House Dragon, but she knows she owes her life to both the power of her Chaos Spoon and House Kraken for liberating her from the sewers where she spent her childhood. So when her adoptive Kraken father is captured in battle, Darling vows to save him, even if it means killing each and every last member of House Dragon. Talon has always been a dutiful war prince for House Dragon, bravely leading the elite troops of his brother, the High Prince Regent. But lately his brother's erratic rule threatens to undo 100 years of House Dragon's hard work, and factions are turning to Talon to unseat him. Talon resists until he's ambushed by a fierce girl who looks exactly like the one his brother has painted obsessively, repeatedly, for years, and Talon knows she's the key to everything. Together, Darling and Talon must navigate the treacherous waters of house politics, caught up in the complicated game the High Prince Regent is playing against everyone. The unlikeliest of allies, they'll have to stop fighting each other long enough to learn to fight together in order to survive the fiery prophecies and ancient blood magic threatening to devastate their world. Next up, we have one by T. Kingfisher, which a lot of you know I have become a huge fan of. I do think that Nettle and Bone and A Wizard's Guide to Defensive Baking, which are quite different from each other, are my 2 favorites by T. Kingfisher, but she does have so many different works and she dips her toes in so many different genres. One of them that I read last year was more gothic inspired, and it wasn't my favorite by her, but I definitely want to read more of her horror and gothic inspired stories, which it seems like this new one, A House with Good Bones, is going to be. So it says, a haunting Southern Gothic from an award-winning master of suspense, A House with Good Bones explores the dark, twisted roots lurking just beneath the veneer of a perfect home and family. Mom seems off. Her brother's words echo in Sam Montgomery's ear as she turns onto the quiet North Carolina street where their mother lives alone. She brushes the thought away as she climbs the front steps. Sam's excited for this rare extended visit and looking forward to nights with just the 2 of them, drinking boxed wine, watching murder mystery shows, and guessing who the killer is long before the characters figure it out. But stepping inside, she quickly realizes home isn't what it used to be. Gone is the warm, cluttered charm her mom is known for. Now the walls are painted a sterile white. Her mom jumps at the smallest noises and looks over her shoulder, even when she's the only person in the room. And when Sam steps out back to clear her head, she finds a jar of teeth hidden beneath the magazine-worthy rose bushes, and vultures are circling the garden from above. To find out what's got her mom so frightened in her own home, Sam will go digging for the truth, but some secrets are better left buried. That one actually seems like it would be such a good fit for the fall. I'm kind of surprised that it's being released in the springtime, but regardless, I'm still definitely very interested in checking it out. The last book for today would be the Fairy Bargains of Prospect Hill. On Prospect Hill, you can get nearly anything you want from the Fae if you know how to ask and if you can pay the price. There is no magic on Prospect Hill, or anywhere else for that matter, but just on the other side of the veil is the world of the Fae and all their magic. Generations ago, the first farmers on Prospect Hill learned to bargain small trades to make their lives a little easier. A bit of glass to find something lost, a cup of milk for better layers in the chicken coop. Much of that old wisdom has been lost as the riverboats gave way to the rail lines and the farmers took work at the copper works and the cotton mill. Elaine Fairborn's family, however, was always superstitious, and she still hums the rhymes to find her lost shoe and ensure dry weather on her sister Delphine's wedding day. But when Delphine confides her new husband is not the man she thought he was, Elaine will stop at nothing to help her sister escape his abuse. Small bargains buy them time, but the progress of locomotives and factories hasn't given way to equitable laws for women. A major bargain is needed, but the price for sweeping change may be more than they're willing to pay. Let me know what some of your most anticipated releases for March are, and then of course be on the lookout, like I said at the beginning, for some follow-up videos when I do get around to reading these. But anyway, thanks so much for watching. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll see you later. Bye.